y'all, Kimberly here. Thanks for coming to my channel, and for all the new subscribers, thank you for subscribing. Thank you so much. And on this channel, I don't have a niche, really. I don't even know what I would consider my, I guess it's like a vlog. I think that's what I kind of call my channel, more like a vlog of things that I do, things in my life. That's about the closest right now, because I don't really have a niche, but I guess, well, a lot of times I like to criticize the weather, because I live in Texas, and it's so stinking hot sometimes, but today it's actually cold, it's raining, and it was nice this morning. It was perfect. It was kind of overcast and very, just somber. I don't know how to describe it. Not hot at all, not cold. It was perfect this morning, but then it got cold. It dropped down into the 50s, and now it's raining, and the wind is kind of blowing, so it's a little cold here now. But, that's pretty much what I do, is gripe about the weather, and then just talk about things in my life, things that happen, or I may have a little bit of a niche. I like that word, niche. Later on, in a few months, maybe, my life is changing, maybe, hopefully. I've recently gone through a divorce, and that's finally been settled, and it was being dragged out for years and years, and I was like financially trapped. And now it's over with, and it's just ridiculous, because it was a house that was worth probably less than $40,000. It's insane what I had to go through. And so that is done. That part of my life is done. I've had some work things, and I've had like death in my family. You know, I've had instances in my life that I've made a few videos on here and there. But mainly I just make videos, vlog type videos. I don't do pranks or any kind of crazy stuff or anything like that. But I am trying to move out in the country, because that is my dream retirement situation. Because I want to maybe get some horses and cows, and I just got 2 rescue dogs. The video before this one was about the 2 Rottweilers that I rescued. Well, you know, I really don't want to call it a rescue, I guess, when I think about it more. It's more like rehoming them, because they had a really good home. It's just the people that had them, the situation that she described was, I don't know if they had kids. I kind of don't think they did. She didn't say anything about children, but the dogs that they had were, you know, big dogs, Rottweilers. And they were keeping them in cages during the daytime when they went to work, because they're a little destructive, I just found out. I have been keeping them in my kitchen, blocking it off, and they did kind of destroy a couple things, but I've tried to take everything out. There's probably a few more things when I get home. I'm probably going to just take everything out of my kitchen except for the stove, you know, appliances, counters, you know, things that they really can't tear up. But I think that's because they were not getting the attention that they deserved. And these people, you know, they're very, very sympathetic towards the dogs. They didn't like the quality of life that the dogs were having, and they were trying to find the best situation. Somebody that would not split them up, because they had brother and sister, and they wanted to make sure that they went to a good home, somebody that would, you know, pay attention to them. And that's my life. My dogs are my life. I work hard so my dogs can have a better life. That's the way I describe the main reason why I have a job. If not, I'd probably be, if I didn't have dogs, I think I would honestly be traveling around in my car doing like YouTube travel videos or something like that. I'd do something you know, more freedom to do whatever I want. But no, I have dogs, and to me, they're like my kids. And when you have a dog, you know, the mentality of a dog is usually about that of a toddler, like a 2, 3, 4-year-old, maybe at the most. And you have to put your life, you know, in a state where you can take care of a toddler perpetually, or for as long as they live. Dogs don't live long enough. We all know that. And a lot of people forget that. They forget that they need your constant care, constant attention, and they thrive on your attention. That's just, you know, they don't have a job. They don't do anything. They wait for you to come home all day long. That's what dogs do. And these people felt very bad about, you know, not being able to give them the attention that they deserved. They worked long hours. And I think they were really thoughtful in what they were trying to do. I don't think they were just trying to get rid of their dogs. You know, that wasn't the feeling I got from them. And I think that's from a lot of people that happens, especially with big dogs. These dogs are big. I think the male dog is probably about 110 pounds, and he will probably put on a little bit of weight because I think he might be, he's not underweight or malnourished in any sense of the word, but he's young. He's only 3 years old. And sometimes younger dogs, you know, they're more lean. They don't have as much body fat, and they're more active. But I'm presuming that in the future he may gain another 10 pounds, especially if I spoil it. You know. Well, I try to keep my dogs on a really good, you know, dog diet. I don't feed them a lot of people food. I might give them a chunk of chicken or a piece of steak, maybe once every few months. I don't feed my dogs people food because there's so many additives, so many, I mean, our food is bad enough for ourselves, and dogs are not made for, or our food is not made for dogs, and the spices and the ingredients, additives can sometimes make dogs sick. And dogs need just a really consistent, good protein diet. And I think that these dogs are really healthy. They're very well trained. They have really good manners. They're sweet, gentle. And I wasn't expecting to get 2 rescue Rottweilers. My sister's going to die when she finds out. I told her she was going to kill me. But, I was just looking. I had no business looking at this rescue site. Ugh, I try to stay away from them because I cry sometimes when I get, oh, I want that dog so bad, but I can't, you know. But that's the way I am about dogs. And I came upon these 2 dogs, and I usually don't look at Rottweilers, although I've always wanted one, but I was like, they're so big, and, you know, I'm afraid I won't get one that, I don't want somebody's problem dog that they abuse, they treat badly because they're big dogs. I'm a small person. I'm used to sweet, loving pit bulls. I know people are going to think that's crazy, but I've had all kinds of all breeds of dogs, and to me, the pit bulls that I've had for over about almost 40 years consistently have been the best natured, most loving, most loyal dogs that I've ever had of any breed that I've ever had. And I've always loved, like, big dogs, like Rottweilers, German Shepherds, Great Danes. I've always wanted a Great Dane. And I look at the Great Danes sometimes. I go to this one site. It's called rescueme.org. And that's the main one that I look at. I looked at several, but this site is a really easy, simple site to look at. And they also have horses, cats, birds. I think they even have, like, guinea pigs and stuff like that you can rescue. And every once in a while I go there and I look at it and I just think, you know, one of these days I'm going to rescue one of these dogs. And I found, like, they give you like a little star, I guess like a wish list, you know, of the dogs that you want to save that you can click on And I clicked on tons of them. My thing is full of dogs that I wanted to save, and I finally got to get one. And you know, I wasn't looking to get one, but it just happened. I just saw these two dogs and I read the little stories, and I wanted another dog, either one or two dogs, for when I move out in the country. For I just feel safe with dogs. I've had some incidents where I've really feared for my life, and things have happened to me. And dogs, I can't even sleep unless I have a dog with me. I can't. I mean, I literally cannot sleep if I don't have a dog with me. So they're like just an essential part of my life. I'll always have dogs to the day I die. And these two dogs, I felt really good about, and I contacted them, and they emailed me back, and we kind of talked a little bit back and forth, and then we ended up talking on the phone and discussing, you know, the situation and how the dogs are, and I explained to them I will probably be moving out in the country, and my goal is to move out in the country, unless I were to find like an exceptional house in town. And I don't really see that happening. There's maybe, I'm going to say like a 1 or 2% possibility of that happening. It's probably going to be land that I buy. And I've gotten quite a few ideas and areas that I would like to move to. And there's a lot of different plots of land that I've only gone to look at one, but I'm going to wait a little bit longer because I don't quite have the down payment. And there's like hundreds and hundreds of plots around the area that I live in that are for sale. So I just ended up with these dogs. I don't know why I'm giving such a hard explanation of this, but I guess because I haven't told my sister. I went to San Angelo to pick the dogs up. I had to travel about 3 hours. I'm in the upper northern part of the Panhandle. I'm sorry, the northern part of Texas, around the lower Panhandle area, and I had to travel to Central Texas to San Angelo. I tried to meet them kind of in the middle to pick the dogs up. That way, the dogs wouldn't be stressed driving like 6 or 7 hours. It would have been a long drive for me just to pick them up and then drive back. It would have been probably about a 10 or 12 hour drive at least, or more than that. It would have been, I think they traveled probably about an hour longer than me. So I traveled 3 hours. If they were driving like 4, that's 7, and then have to turn around and do that. That's 14 hours. Oh, that's a lot longer than I thought it was. Okay. But we immediately just loaded them up in my truck, and I got to meet them. We met in a parking lot. They gave me all kinds of equipment to go with them, leashes, collars, and their food bowls, elevated food bowls. They gave me a bunch of food. All their toys, gave me a whole bag full of toys. So these dogs were really taken care of, you know. So I just wanted to make them really understand I'm really going to care about them and give them a good home. And then I just drove home with them, and they were so good. They sat in the back. My truck is a pigsty right now. I have so much stuff in it I need to unload, but they just sat back there, and they stayed there the whole time, and they were very good. They were just so well behaved, and they slept a little bit. I know they were a little bit anxious or maybe not understanding because they were just not seeing their people, and they ended up with a total stranger that they don't even know. And I think that's traumatic for dogs, and I feel sorry for them when that happens. But again, I can't criticize these people because they were trying to do the best that they could. But a lot of times people get dogs that are too big, And they're too, they take a lot of time, and like I had to have a Yukon, a big vehicle, to travel with these two dogs because they would have been so uncomfortable sitting in just a regular seat. The one of them, the big boy, he weighs probably about 110 pounds, and for him to sit in a seat, he couldn't even, if he was sitting all the way up, his head would be all the way to the sunroof. He's big. And so a lot of people, they don't account for things when they get these big dogs. They get these big old Rottweilers and big German Shepherds and Mastiff and these giant, I want to say Pit Bull mixes that are mixed with like Great Danes and Mastiffs. And so many of these dogs end up in shelters, and they end up being, sometimes being not treated well, not fed right because people don't have enough food. I mean, people just don't realize that. And they get these cute little puppies, and then when they start to grow and grow and grow, and it becomes a problem, they don't have room for them. They may actually be in an apartment, and they don't have not even a little courtyard. They take them out for walks every day, but that's not enough sometimes. And then they start to have behavior problems like that, and, you know, that's just unfortunate that that happens. And I think people should be more conscientious about, you know, what kind of dog you're getting. Does it fit into your lifestyle? Excuse me. Can you provide, you know, the lifestyle that it needs? And, you know, rehoming your dog is like one of the most heartbreaking things. I can't even imagine having to do that for one of my dogs. So, I don't, you know, like I say, no criticism and no, I'm not going to say anything to these people, because they did, you know, they were doing the right thing, even though a lot of people think, well, you're just giving away your dog because they're a problem. Yeah, some people do that over the simplest things. They can't potty train a dog, or they can't put up with the dog barking, or they can't put up with the dog constantly wanting attention. You know, these are things that people end up abusing their dogs over. And if that is something that you haven't thought about, you know, think about, what would I do to this dog if they peed on the floor? What would I do to this dog if I was tired and they're constantly trying to bother me for attention, you know, when I get off work? You have to think about things like that. When you get a dog, it's like having like I say, a perpetual toddler. You have to take care of every little need that they have. You have to be there constantly for them, and you got to provide every moment of entertainment. They're at your mercy, constantly at your mercy. And a lot of dogs that are in shelters, like black dogs, they rarely get adopted compared to the more, I guess, dogs that have different color patterns, different type of markings, stuff like that. And to me, I don't understand that, because I think black dogs are beautiful. And, see, large dogs, you know, they can be hard to place compared to cute, sweet, I don't know, little Maltese or something like that. You know, a lot of people will pick, you know, the smaller dog because they're easier to handle. And, you know, that's another obstacle that big dogs face. And, to me, there's a difference between, like I say, rescuing and rehoming. I want to say, although it is a rescue when you're taking a dog out of a situation where there's lesser quality of life, typically, yeah, that could be a rescue. But it's also rehoming, because you are trying to just transfer them from one home to the other. And in my situation, it's a rescue, but it's also rehoming. But also, people call rehoming, or people who sell dogs also call it rehoming, because now a lot of places on the internet won't let you put the word sale in your ad, for sale. You have to say rehome, which I think that's kind of ridiculous. If you're looking for a dog for sale, a puppy, or, you know, I mean, it kind of makes it sound like it's a bad thing to buy a dog, which, you know, rescue organizations, they sometimes charge a lot for a dog because a dog had a lot of veterinary care or something like that. Or maybe they had an operation and it cost thousands of dollars. And this is not a criticism to those organizations, because they need lots of money to rescue these dogs. It takes a lot of money. They've got to have a location, like a shelter. They've got to have cages. They've got to have blankets, dog beds, food, toys. It takes a lot of money to rescue dogs. And some of these rescue dogs can be thousands of dollars. I've seen rescue dogs that were $4,000 or $5,000. And when I was looking last week, a couple weeks ago, I can't remember what kind of dog it was, but they wanted like almost $5,000 because it had been through so much surgery and so much medical care. And I was thinking, that dog's never going to get how is he going to get adopted? I can't afford it. You know, not many people are going to pay almost $5,000 for a middle age, a dog that's, I can't remember how the dog, it's like 4 or 5 years old, you know. But rescuing a dog versus buying, you know, you have to, that's up to you to determine what kind of, do you want a puppy? Do you want it pedigree? Does it matter? To me, papers don't matter at all. I don't care anything about papers. I care more about the behavior of the dog and just the general health and behavior. Something that I can accommodate into my life, that I am able to take care of, that I have the ability to take care of. You know, those are the important factors. You know, those parameters are more important to me than any kind of paperwork at all. And there are tons and tons of purebred dogs in rescue. These dogs are purebred. There's all in shelters all across the U.S. and in rescue organizations. There's even rescue organizations that specifically rescue purebred dogs. And a lot of people think, well, I don't want to, like a dog, they want to raise it up from a puppy. But sometimes you might want to think about that, because old dogs that have already been house trained, that have manners, obedience training, they're exceptional dogs. And they're just waiting for somebody to come and, you know, rescue them. And I love old dogs. Old dogs to me are, I love puppies. I love them to death. But the old dogs, you know, they're waiting for somebody. They've already been house trained. They're just, it just breaks my heart, you know. And there's so many good dogs in rescue and waiting in shelters, just sitting there waiting. And it's horrible that sometimes dogs become soured because they wait so long in a rescue place. I mean, it's literally like jail. It psychologically can damage dogs sitting there waiting. And some dogs can deal with it, and they're perfectly fine when they come out. But some dogs are very nervous, very, you know, it's such a traumatic shock for a dog that the owner dies or has to be put into a care center or something like that happens immediately. Something just happens. They have a medical condition that overnight their life changes, and they get shipped off to some place that they don't know. None of the people, they don't know anything. And that's, you know, it's just horrible. It's heartbreaking to me. And this is just like a little thing to think about. You know, would you want an older dog? Would you want a puppy? Think about, you know, am I going to really want to house train a dog? Am I going to want to have to deal with the juvenile things that little puppies go through, tearing stuff up and doing this? And old dogs, you know, sometimes somebody has already dealt with that, and a perfectly fine older dog is just sitting there waiting for somebody to love them, waiting for them, you know, to be loyal to a person. Dogs can be immediately loyal. These dogs have already attached themselves to me. They're already protective of me when we're in the backyard. And they stand right next to me. And I notice their behavior. I can tell, you know, what their dog behavior is when they hear. The first day out there, they were a little bit, like, confused. And they're just sniffing everything. And learning all the corners and everything in the yard. But then by the second day, they were like barking at other dogs, other sounds that they heard, and the big dog, he comes and he stands right next to me. And that's like a loyalty thing, like a kind of like a, I want to say maybe a guarding type thing. Like when you go to the bathroom and your dog follows you in there, that's a natural thing that dogs do in the wild. They guard each other when they go to the bathroom, and that's what your dog is doing when you're going to the bathroom. And I already noticed that this male dog, he's already doing that. The female dog does it too, but I think it's more for attention with her, and he's more, I guess, I would say not one of them's dominant over the other that I've noticed yet, if either one is. But he tends to be more like, I don't know how to explain it really. Not that he's more loyal than her, because I barely know the dogs. I've only had them a week. But he's already showing, you know, that kind of loyalty to stick right next to me. And these dogs are probably not going to live as long as some of the other dogs I've had. Rottweilers, I think they have a life expectancy maybe around 10 years. I can't really remember, but most of my dogs have lived a long time. I've had dogs that live between like 12 to 19, over 19 years old. And a lot of people, they're like, oh, I can't go through that again. When they have a dog that dies, I can't go through that. It was so painful. But, you know, there's a time period where you can heal from that. And if you really, really love dogs, think about giving another home to honor the dog you had before. Okay, thank you all for coming to my channel, and thank you so much. Have a good day.